me, Vicky Marie. And for anyone who doesn't know my channel, I make videos on true crime, stories in the news, all sorts of things. So if you're not subscribed and maybe it's your first time watching my channel, please remember to like and subscribe, please. Okay, and so as always, first thing I always want to say is thank you. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far, everyone who's liked any of my videos, anyone who watches my videos, people who send me emails, leave nice messages. Special thanks to my members. I do members lives Tuesdays and Thursdays. What else do I need? Oh, thank you to anyone who's bought me a Ko-fi or sent me a super sticker, etc. Appreciate all the support for my channel. Now, it's good morning here from Spain. I'm based in Spain, for anybody who doesn't know, but I cover stories from all over the world. At the moment, it's 10 to 10 in the morning in Spain. And also, for those of you who don't know, I am a Spanish teacher as well. I've got some classes shortly, but I've got time to do this live before the classes, and I'll be back later after the classes, I expect. And back for the members live this evening. But what I wanted to do this morning, I normally do a live at some point in the morning or early afternoon. And I want to just say to everyone out there, I don't know if you're good morning, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. And thank you for being here with me to listen to me drivel on. Sorry. So I've forgotten what I was saying now. So yeah, and then I was thinking, what am I going to do this morning's video on? And of course, a case that I have followed, but only really briefly. Just let me take the banner off the bottom there. Is the Summer Wells case. And this is, you know, a very, very sad case. Let's remind ourselves, if we need reminding, of Summer. It was a little girl who disappeared from her home. I love that picture of her. I mean, she looks a right little monkey, doesn't she? She looks really cheeky, really sort of, she's just lovely. Anyway, she disappeared from her home, didn't she? And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation are dealing with this case, which is the same organization, of course, that's dealing with the Sebastian Rogers case. And there's been no updates on Sebastian Rogers, only the shit show from all the circus between, you know, the parents and Seth Rogers and Tony Mathis and all that rubbish. But there's not been any proper updates in the Sebastian Rogers case from law enforcement. And, you know, Summer Wells's case is very similar. Sometimes, you know, it must feel like the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have just given up or just stopped looking for Summer. But of course, this is not true. And recently, it's been the 3-year sort of anniversary, if that's the right word, since Summer went missing. And so the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have issued a statement. So we're going to have a look at that. I personally, you know, I don't really like covering child cases. You know, at the moment we're covering the Madeline Soto case, and that's upsetting as well. But, you know, it's important, of course, to keep Summer's name out there. We can't sort of let it become a cold case. You know, so many become cold cases, don't they? And the thing is, when the police are working behind the scenes, we've just seen that in the Rachel Marin case, you know, nearly a year before her killer was caught, but they were always working on it. Just no news does not always mean that nothing's being done, does it? And of course, if you like, the social media's view on what happened to Summer revolves around her parents, Candace and her husband. Now, Don Don Welts. There's so much been said about them. Again, it's very similar with the Sebastian Rogers case, where everyone has decided, or the court of popular opinion has decided, that because maybe they're not perfect parents, they might, who is, but they must have had something to do with it. But I have to say, there is no evidence. So we're going to work on that assumption, as we normally do, that, well, there's no charges laid, no evidence that they've had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. Whatever we might think inside, we have to almost give them the benefit of the doubt, really, because they've not been even charged with anything. So it's not only innocent till proven guilty, they've not even been charged, they've not even taken that first step and been charged, and even then after that it's innocent till proven guilty. But Candace and Don have not been charged, so we have to remember that. But anyway, I think we'll start off. Well, first of all, I'll just say hello to everyone. I know I'm quite early this morning, so I don't know who'll be here. Hi, David. He's just made it back. Hi, Chumba. Chumba's up early this morning. Hi, Julie. Hi, Fragaria. Yeah, she does. To me, Summer looks like, if you ever read, she looks like Scout from, oh my God, what's that book called? That famous book. And it was made into a film with Gregory Peck. Well, the old version was Scout. Anyway, the character was called Scout. It'll come to me, or somebody might remember the name of the name of the book. It's a famous book. Is it Catcher in the Rye? I don't know. It's one of those type of books, an American classic, and that's who she always reminds me of. But you're right, she does look like Tatum as well in Paper Moon. So let's just refresh ourselves. Actually, what happened? As I say, I have covered this case. I do have videos out there about this case. But as it's, as I'm, not really I don't really like to report on child cases, but also because there's not basically been anything to report on. So I don't want to report on gossip about the parents, etc. I want to report on, actual things, evidence. So I'm just reading from the Charlotte Observer, really just to refresh. Some of you may not know about this case. I mean, it's 3 years ago. Some people that are watching my videos now coming through other cases and may not know about this case. So a 5-year-old girl clad in grey pants and a pink shirt, her blonde hair cropped short, came in from gardening and went to play with her toys in the basement of her family's home in rural East Tennessee. And that was the last time anybody saw her. Now, if you've seen the videos of the home, if I remember, I'll reference the videos that I have made on her, because we did look at sort of where she lived. I mean, it's right out in the boonies, or it's like what we call in Spain a Casa del Campo. There's woods all around it. It's not it's not a house on a residential street in the city. So she could have wandered off, or she could have met. There's a road right at the bottom. If you look at the geography of it all, it's entirely possible that she did wander off, or that somebody abducted her, of course. And you can never be sure. It could have been the parents. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it wasn't the parents. What I'm saying is, I don't know. And until the actual law enforcement says what happened, or provides the evidence for what they think happened, I'm reserving judgment. Anyway, she did so. We're on the 18th of June now, but she disappeared on the 15th of June, which sparked a weeks-long manhunt in the rugged mountainous terrain of Hawkins County. So bear in mind, it's been a couple of years now and she still hasn't been found. But anyway, hundreds of tips called into the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have been dead ends. And some in her family have all but given up hope of finding her alive. So Summer's father said, "I'll see her in the resurrection." Dear me. No, she is. This is where she reminds me of Scout. Now, this picture did concern me a little bit because some people say, was she alive in this picture? Again, I don't know. I don't know if she was. It does concern me a little bit, or maybe she was just sleeping soundly in the back of the car. So, on the June 16th, 2021, an Amber Alert was issued for 5-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells after she went missing outside her house in East Tennessee, about 30 miles from the North Carolina border. Investigators said she was last seen wearing grey pants and a pink shirt. Yeah, so 3 years. It's a long time, isn't it? Makes you worry about Sebastian Rogers' case. Is that going to go on and no answers? You know, there's similarities, isn't there? Of course, Sebastian's a lot older. He's 15. He's an adolescent. But, you know, Summer's... So, Don and Candace's other children, I believe, have been taken away from them after this. There was domestic abuse in the family. There were concerns about the safety of the house because it's like this crazy sort of house. The grandma lived in the garden. The grandma lives in the garden in a like a caravanette thing, so. You know, is it likely that Summer wandered off without anybody seeing her, or is it more likely that the family had something to do with it? I don't know. But anyway, at 5:30 p.m. on June the 15th, Summer was planting flowers about 20 feet from her family's house on Ben Hill Road in the unincorporated community of Beech Creek with her mother and grandmother. Her dad told the Times News. What date is this? What date is this article? Oh, this was only... So this article was written only a month after she vanished. Had he already decided he'd see her in the resurrection? That seems a bit quick. Anyway, never mind. So she reportedly went inside and told her 3 older brothers she wanted to play with her toys in the basement. But when her mother, Candace, came inside a short time later, Summer was nowhere to be found. And at 6:30, she was reported missing. So at midnight on that same day, the Tennessee, was it the same day? No, the next day, midnight the next day, they released an endangered child alert for Summer, and then they changed it to an Amber Alert at 11 a.m. And the endangered child alert is issued when there is concern for a child's safety, while Amber Alerts are reserved for the most serious of missing children cases, where officials believe a child is in imminent danger. So was she taken away? Did she wander off herself? Or did her family do something to her? Or, you know, did she have an accident and her family covered her up? So at 4 p.m. on June the 16th, officials with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the TBI held the first of what would be several news conferences updating the public on search efforts, and around 30 tips were called in before the end of that day. And then by 1 p.m. on June the 17th, search teams said steep and dangerous terrain, including dense canopy coverage and ground cover, were hampering their efforts. Poor cell phone service was also making it difficult for them to communicate. I mean, it looks dangerous. You can see that. Did Summer wander off and then fall, or something happened to her? Anyway, in 2021, the TBI released these photos to give us an idea of the difficult terrain teams are dealing with during the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells. So yeah, we can see that it's difficult. So as of that evening, teams had searched more than 680 acres, but Summer Wells is still missing. and we continue to urge residents who live near Ben Hill Road to check their trail or surveillance cameras for video or photos of Summer. Now, we've got to presume that they took Candace's and Don's phones off them, like they did with Stefan Stearns, or like they do, I'm presuming they did exactly the same with Sebastian's parents. You know, check their phone data, where were they, etc. We've got to assume that the police have done all that. We can't, you can't think that the police haven't done any of that. They'll have done it, but nothing significant has come up. So at 8:40, investigators began asking anyone who lives on or near Ben Hill Road to check their trail cameras, surveillance footage, and outbuildings for any sign of Summer. June the 18th, so that's exactly 3 years ago today, Summer's father spoke to media outlets for the first time, saying he was at work when Summer went missing. So he says, when I got home, now can't they check that? I'm sure they must have checked that with phone data. When I got home, I drove to the bottom of the property and I realised that all my neighbours and stuff were combing the woods looking for her. And I realised right then and there she was not there. Now, the thing about Don Wells is he wouldn't win any personality contest. He's a bit like Chris Proudfoot in that, isn't he? You know, he's like, he doesn't say what he thinks will be. I've heard him on ages ago. I've heard him on various YouTube channels, very similar to Chris Proudfoot. You know, getting angry with the host. These really they should not go on these channels because, of course, even if they're innocent, they're going to get angry and. Because their child is missing. So let's presume they're innocent. Well, the child's missing. So they are going to get annoyed when people ask questions, inferring that maybe they've got something to do with it. That just is what, that's human nature. So they just should not do it. I don't think they're on YouTube as much as they were because Candace actually gave advice, didn't she, to Sebastian Rogers' parents. Best thing to do is not say anything, because she's obviously learned over the years that the more you try, she had that YouTube of the interview room in her house, showed them around the house and that, and they sort of turned it against her a bit. Thing is, if people are determined that you're guilty, they're going to twist whatever you do, whatever you say around to fit that. So she's obviously got to a point now where she's not talking to anyone, but she does have her own YouTube channel. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So on June the 19th, TBI shared photographs of Summer's house and property where she was last seen. Oh, bless her. So this is the house. Yes, it's no, you just can't imagine. I suppose she thought, because there was another way out, wasn't there? Summer had gone into the bedroom, into her room, but there was another way out of her room. So she could have got out without Candace seeing her. Anyway, a week after her disappearance, TBI reported receiving at least 221 tips. They continued to push residents in the area to check their barns and crawl spaces for places a child might hide. Searches carried on. A roadblock was set up to ask drivers if they noticed anything unusual. They covered 4.6 square miles in the search for Summer Wells. So in the early days, of course, there were regular updates from the TBI. But of course, as time goes on, let's just have a look at this video. No, we won't, because I've got so much to show you. I want these are from a long time ago. Agents and detectives seen here. Oh no, let's have a look at it. We've got.
But every day until we find Summer Wells, we will have specialized search teams, whether it be canine, specialized man tracking, USAR teams that we've already utilized to go back into these areas. Once we get a lot of these people out, it may make this area calm down a little bit, but we will have people in the Beech Creek community from one end to the other, working tirelessly day in and day out, be able to keep fresh crews coming in and still continue to search until we find Summer Wells.
So obviously they were expecting to find Summer, but they didn't. There is another video. Let's have a look.
Come out to the bell with.
So they were at pains in the early days to show how, to give regular updates to show how they were searching. Now, on June the 26th, they asked for a driver of a Toyota pickup truck to come forward. Oh, I wonder if they ever did come forward. Officials said the person may have seen something related to Summer's disappearance. This all sort of reminds me of, that case in the, of the girl that Charlotte Senna, who got kidnapped from the state park where the family were all camping, weren't they, for the weekend? And Charlotte Senna, wasn't she taken in a red pickup truck? Oh, they don't say colour. Oh, yeah, maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack along with white buckets in the truck bed. So I don't know if this person ever came forward. The police will be following it up, obviously. But yeah, so Charlotte Senna, she, they just found her bike, didn't she, where she was doing laps of riding her bike, and she asked if she could do one lap on her own. And the next minute she was disappeared. She was gone, but she was luckily found, although she had been abused, sex abused, but at least she was alive. She was found, and the guy was arrested. Not an immigrant this time. It's funny because everyone was saying, oh, is it an immigrant at the time? They've got, there's this big down up, but he wasn't an immigrant. He was like a redneck, from that area. And he lived in a mobile home in his parents' garden, and he had her in there in a cupboard when the police went round. Anyway, again, good police work. They found her. She's safe. Unfortunately, she had been abused, but at least she was safe and well. This reminds me a bit of that. It makes me, you just never know. I know that all the attention, if you like, all the suspicion is focused on Candace and Don, but there are other things that might have happened, so we don't know. And I wonder if the police ever tracked down. So then, but of course, this is a couple of years ago. To date, the driver has not been found. Then on June the 27th, they announced they're scaling back search operations, which is odd. And then on July the 1st, the Polk County Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin said because the other thing that had happened, her aunt, Rosemary Bly, had vanished, and she's still not been found in Polk County in 2009. So that's 2 missing people in one family. You might think that that's a bit too much of a coincidence. Anyway, they said in July 2021, no solid leads from the tips called in. However, they did say it was nowhere even close to being a cold case. July the 12th, they said they've received 935 tips. And he said everything is still on the table. But on that same day, that's when Don Wells expressed little hope that she was still alive. But now this again reminds me so much of the Proudfoots, because he and Seth Rogers, his wife and his mother-in-law all passed lie detector tests in the early days of the investigation. Now, I know lie detector tests aren't definitive, but all 3 of them passed. So you think, if there was some collusion there, if something had happened, you think at least one of them wouldn't have passed, but they did, they all passed. So we have to remember that as well. On July the 13th, they said that investigators normally have a credible tip or lead to go off within a couple of days of a child missing, but not in this case, was it? yeah, they said they'll continue to investigate. So what's this? Let's have a look at this interview.
Right now, everything is still on the table. We're still trying to find out what happened to Summer. So everybody's still a person of interest. Still looking at help from the landowners too.
Can't hear that very well, but it's yeah, the sound's right up. But basically, he's saying at this point, everything's still on the table. Everyone's a person of interest.
To go back and check their trail cameras, their security cameras every day, especially around the time that she disappeared. We never know who was going to be in that area, and we're still looking for a red Toyota truck.
Still looking for the red Toyota truck, asking people still to check their cameras, etc.
Everything that we do is trying to put a piece of the puzzle together to find Summer. And it may not be something that mean anything to the people. It may mean everything to us.
Yeah. So he's saying there, let us know any little thing. It may mean everything. It may not mean anything, or it may mean everything to us. Who's this? A special agent in charge?
On an Amber Alert, and the ones that I've been involved in since I have been over this program, within a couple of days, we have a tip or a lead or have an idea if they've been abducted, if they may be left into the woods. Somebody saw something that leads us hopefully to get an answer to where the child went or if they were taken. We're going to have some tip or lead. And that is the frustrating part for law enforcement in this case and for the public. We will continue to investigate and search for Summer. In the public's eye, there may not be as much media attention given to this case, but that does not mean that we stop what we're doing. We will continue to use every resource we have that we can utilize to try to find Summer.
I just need to go to that again. What is this about the no shoes? Last seen wearing grey pants, pink shirt, and possibly no shoes. Just like Sebastian. So this was the story. 3 years ago when she first went missing. So what we're going to look at now is the latest release by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. So because of the 3-year mark, that's why they've released this. Normally on anniversaries, they release some details or I think it's just to let us know that they are still working. So this weekend marks 3 years since Summer Wells disappeared. Since then, we've worked with 6,500 leads and tips, interviewed and re-interviewed anyone with potential information, and scoured acres upon acres in the search for answers. We won't stop until we have these answers. Now, it just makes you wonder, have they identified that truck yet that was supposedly seen? I wonder. Anyway, and the interesting thing as well about this is the Don Wells family, their Twitter account has said, "Thank you, TBI," which actually just reminds me, while I'm on it, I think I'm going to follow them. Oh, I am following them. So they don't make many posts, not that I've seen anyway. Oh, I don't seem to have seen these. So these are the posts made by the Don Wells family. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Let's see this video that they've released. They're saying they will not stop until we have the answers. But of course, there's lots of missing children.
My name is Josh Melton.
Sebastian and Summer are only one of many children that go missing. I really do not like these advanced age things. I cannot see Summer in that at all. So I don't know, and I understand why they do these things, but I think these can be unhelpful because Summer might not look like that at all now. To me, I can't see Summer in that picture. So I know kids do change, but I don't think they change that much.
When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. My name is Josh Melton. I'm the Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case.
Now, notice those two scenarios he mentioned there. We don't know if she was abducted or she wandered away from her home. He's not mentioned at all that it might be anything to do with the family, or a possibility that it might be anything to do with the family. I mean, have they ruled the family out? Maybe they have.
The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate. We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles.
John, I think that's so true what he says, because, law enforcement cannot speculate. They've just got to work on pure, cold facts, evidence. Again, with the Rachel Marin case lately, there was speculation, wasn't there, that her murderer had gone across the border. But he hadn't. He was found in Oklahoma. So the thing is, if you start thinking, he may have gone over the border, I'm sure that was one of the scenarios that they had in there. But if you just focus on that, you're not focusing on the other possibilities. So you just have to, everything's on the table, everything.
That have traveled through the area, or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. Children are our top priority at TBI. They're the most vulnerable population that we have. They're our most precious things in our world. Our commitment to the public is that we're not going to allow this case to sit on a shelf. We are committed to bringing Summer home, and we will keep working on this.
I don't like this picture at all. You don't know that her hair is even like that. She could have really long hair by now if she was still alive. Doesn't look anything like her face. Her eyes are the wrong colour, I think. Everything looks wrong about this picture.
Case until she is home.
Now I know that if she is still with us, in fact, and that reminds me, I meant to light the candle and I haven't lit the candle yet. So today's candle is for Summer, specifically for Summer, but as we know, for anybody who needs it, candle for Summer, bless her. If she is still on this planet, if she is still with us, I know she won't look like she looked when she disappeared 3 years ago, but I don't know that she would look like that. I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, right, just put a few windows down so that I can concentrate on what I'm putting up next. So let's have a look now at Candace's YouTube channel. Of course, it's coming up with all can. Is it called Can? Her channel. It's coming up with all can dances. Oh, come on. It's not coming up. Let me just go into YouTube. Gosh, when you go through the YouTube, there's so many YouTube videos about summer, but most of them seem to be really down on the wells. But, you know, people just do horrible titles like, you know, the child remains in a trash can and who really beat the lie detector test. I mean, nobody knows that she's in a trash can. Why do YouTubers do anyway, never mind. So I can't find Candace's, let's see. Can't find her. Just can't find it. I don't know why. Maybe she's taken it down. No, I don't think so, because she did she put some videos on not long ago. Anyway, she puts videos on about summer, about things that are going on. She never mentions you know, they're not normally, you can't put comments on and things like that, but you know, I don't know. There's this sort of, I personally, when I see Candace, when I have seen Candace talking and that, I think Candace is very upset about losing Summer. Now, that doesn't mean to say that necessarily there wasn't an accident that happened or something happened. You know, I don't know if the Wells is covered up Summer's death, but it seems strange to me that they passed 3 lie detector tests. The whole family passed the lie detector test. You know, they've been investigated. So, you know, just hope this is not going to be one of those, another mystery case like Madeleine McCann, you know, where we never know the truth. Everyone's got their theories, haven't they? Everyone's got their theories about Summer Wells, what happened to her. But as far as, you know, proof is concerned, there is no proof of any of it. You know, no proof of any foul play, no proof of accident, no proof of a cover up. Let's see if we can see Don talking. I'll get them. God, can't get these bloody. Let's see if I can find a Don. Okay, so this is an interview that Don Wells made recently, about a week ago, apparently. We'll read it, see what he's got to say. So Saturday marks 3 years since the then 5-year-old Summer Wells vanished from her home in Beech Creek, and her disappearance sparked a major search. Don and Candace Wells, Summer's parents, said it's been a tough 3 years, but they're holding on to their faith and hope that they will see her again. This is just temporary. Heaven is forever, said Don Wells. He tells News 5 he believes his daughter was kidnapped. I was at work, and when I came home, I knew she was no longer on the property, he said. I knew she was gone, and I knew someone had to put her in a car and taken her. It was a lot of shock, a lot of mental numbness. It was really bad. He said he no longer searches for Summer. We've tried social media, and that was a complete train wreck. You know, and it was, and that's really what Seth Rogers has found, isn't it? And the Proudfoots, you know, social media. Once social media has decided, you know, that you're guilty, doesn't seem to matter what you do. They're always going to think the same thing. I've tried going out and searching what little bit I could myself, but that's tough too. So no, I don't search anymore. I wouldn't know where to search. She could be anywhere in the world. He says that Summer's disappearance, on top of the cruelty they face from social media and the public, has been tough. He's also frustrated with Hawkins County law enforcement and the Department of Children's Services because they ultimately signed over their rights to their 3 boys to the state. Wells said they've always cooperated with police and gave them permission to search their property many times, but despite that, feel like they haven't always been treated fairly. They were constantly ripping our house apart, constantly ripping our vehicles apart, he said. We let them come on our property 10 times to search, and the 11th time they came on June the 15th, and they tore the safe off the floor. I think they did it to intimidate us or something like that. I think Hawkins County and DCS worked together to intimidate us and tear us down and everything while they were taking our boys. They said it would just be for 6 months to get them out of this chaos for a while. They said it's our #1 mission to get your kids back in the family, which is a straight lie, in my opinion. Community members in the area are still holding on to hope. Many of them now gather at Awaken Church in downtown Kingsport to pray weekly, if not daily, for Summer's safe return. I believe Summer will be found, said Awaken Church member Timmy Etherton. I believe she's still alive. I'm still believing it because all things are possible through God. And all things are possible. This week, the group at Awaken prayed for Summer and all missing children. There is always hope, said the minister Joseph Broadwater. I don't want people to give up on that. We need to be praying and begging for God to work a miracle in this situation. As long as there's nothing we have discovered, there is still hope. Well, I think that's a good time, a good place to finish because, as I say, I've got some classes now. But yeah, let me know. All right, I'll have a little look for Candace Wells CanCam. Yeah, see, when I put in, hang on, here it is. Yeah, let's have a little look. Just before I go then, thank you for that. I've put that in and it's come up. So, just trying to make it for my children. That's her description. She's got 3.27 subscribers. She's made 84 videos. That's a bench that's gone down. Sorry, a bench that's been put for Summer. Wild stray cat. Sometimes she does some weather things, but like these nice videos that she does of Oh, thing is, whatever's happened to Summer, what we have to remember is, Candace is a mum who's lost her daughter. So unless you're believing that Candace has actually, nastily murdered her or whatever, even if there was an accident, it would be, still very difficult, wouldn't it, for her? So, but yeah, if you want to go and check it out, so that's Candace Swells. You can have a look at the video she's put on there. I don't think I was sharing that, was I? Or was I sharing it? Did I share it? Did I share that? I can't remember. I didn't notice if I shared it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I've got to go. But yeah, light your candles. Yeah, put our candles up. For all these people that were following, so Anna, Samantha, Summer, of course, Sebastian. Cases that we're following, that I like to follow these cases. Samantha Murphy, but that's for a body to be found. For Anna, for a body to be found. We're following these cases and we'll keep following them. But I don't know about Summer. Is it, after 3 years? I think once, it gets over a year, you're going to start thinking, well, it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of for people to turn up. So we can't think like that. We can't think negatively, can we? But anyway, I'll see you later. Remember to live and love wisely, carefully. Have a great day, a great afternoon, a great evening. Thanks for sharing your time here with me. And I'll see you, as always, really soon in the next video. I'm going to put Summer's face up here, I think. And until then, may your God always go with you. Now, I'm going to put my little video up, but I think I'll keep... No, I'm going to keep Summer up there. So, adios. But don't forget to like. Thank you. Bye.